Sangita Myska, media figures sign an open letter to LBC expressing deep concerns about her departure. We're going to read into this more from Byline Times, you guys. Let's go. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is Reganelite here with an article from Byline Times with the headline of Sangita Myska, media figures sign an open letter to LBC expressing deep concerns about her departure. Broadcasters and politicians said they fear her abrupt exit from the station means excellent journalists are at risk for simply doing their job and asking robust questions. Guys, while you're here, make sure you hit the like button and share this across social media so others are notified of this video. So, for a bit of context, Sangita Myska was an LBC presenter. She is centre, left wing, I suppose, if you want to put her in that category, sort of thing. She is a pretty much a highly respected broadcaster, journalist on there. Nobody had any. I've never heard, as far as I'm aware, not heard any issues in particular to her. And I thought she was I think she was very good to the radio station in terms of the way she handled phone calls, the way she did with interviews and whatnot. And I thought she would very good when it comes to robusting questions. Now, the last time she was on LBC, she was asking questions from someone representing the Israeli government, obviously with regards to Gaza and what's happening there. And since then, she completely disappeared. And there was little to no acknowledgement of it from LBC. And all of a sudden, her time slot was taken in by someone new, someone who actually has more favoritism towards Israel, which raised a huge amount of questions. There was no from LBC like a thank you or we're letting Sangita go or anything like that. It was very much shuffle under the carpet, behind the curtains, behind closed doors, all that kind of stuff, which is incredibly, in my opinion, disrespectful if you're not even going to tell the public what's going on. Now, people were saying that her contract was coming up and it wasn't for renewed as well. I've heard that story as well. I don't know if that's how true that is, so we'll have to obviously that may have updated and maybe an updated one since then because I've not seen one, but it does raise questions about LBC's credentials as a radio station. I know there are many people who are advocate fans of James O'Brien, and I do consider James O'Brien to be, at times I agree with him, and there are some times where I don't agree with his premises and his words and saying. Now, that being said, I don't listen to LBC 24/7, so I don't go out of my way to listen to every now and then. I'll watch one or two videos from maybe from Ian Dale, maybe from Nick Ferrari, maybe sometimes, not all the time, one or two other presenters maybe as well. I do sometimes obviously try to check out James O'Brien's videos whenever they drop on YouTube, but not all the time. Sometimes, because I do think I do listen to that stuff, but it does. Lately, I haven't listened to anything to LBC. Simply because of how I felt about this story. And I haven't covered anything regarding this story, but I'm just going to tell you how I generally feel. I feel like what this headline is. I do feel like that a journalist who is simply doing their job and asking tough, difficult questions to, whether it's politicians, whoever they're speaking to, they should be allowed to be doing it without any kind of consequences whatsoever. Because the moment you start saying you can't do this or you can't do this as a broadcaster, then you're no longer being able to do the job properly because you're being restrained by people around you, and it's extremely dangerous. And I'm looking forward to when Sangita finally speaks out about all this and just tells us all exactly what's happened. It's entirely possible she may have signed an NDA, which is another reason why we're not hearing anything from her as well. That's entirely possible as well. Whether that's true or not, again, it's just speculation, but we don't know. But it does raise a lot of questions as well about journalists and them being able to do their jobs here, because this is the kind of thing that you know, when we start undermining journalists and broadcasters from doing their jobs, the moment you start going down this path, you're going further and further away from any kind of democracy, any kind of accountability, because people then are allowed to get away with things because journalists are afraid to speak out against them. And we know that especially in Israel right now, that they're shutting down any kind of criticism towards their government and anything to do with what's happening within the Gaza Strip. We know obviously they're trying to influence Western governments as well. So it's very, very frustrating to say the least. So let's read what Byline Times have to say on this, guys. So more than 100 journalists, broadcasters, celebrities, politicians, academics and activists have signed an open letter to LBC expressing their deep concern at the sudden disappearance of the presenter Sangita Myska from the station. The signatories include senior BBC and Channel 4 news journalists, members of the Parliament, and the singer Charlotte Church said that Myska's departure from the station has been interpreted as many as the station complete disregard for industrial standards relating to diversity and transparency. They also expressed concern that her departure shows that excellent journalists are at risk for simply doing their job and asking robust questions. Myska's departure led to widespread speculation online that she had been sacked due to her on-air questioning of an Israeli spokesperson about the war in Gaza, something that has been denied by figures at LBC. Well, what's the reason she's disappeared? Among those who signed in the open letter are Channel 4's presenters Symeon Brown and Lindsey Hilsum, who described Myska as a brave, principled and excellent broadcaster, as well as Labour's MPs Zarah Sultana, Yasmin and John McDonnell. In their letter, they stated that in a world besieged by disinformation and misinformation, Sangita's voice as a truth teller through her career is even more sought now, after now that is missed. They also say her departure has prompted fears about the station's commitment to diversity in journalism, saying that Sangita has used her platform to uplift unrepresented voices, mentor divisive talent, provide allyship to a wide range of communities telling their stories while challenging racist narratives and institutional bias with intelligence, wit, and lived experience. Myska's department led to a large public outpouring of support for the presenter, with tens of thousands of people signed a petition and protesting against it. She has yet to publicly comment about her exit. However, other LBC presenters have pushed back against the suggestion that it was due to anything other than commercial considerations. The station has since revamped their weekend schedule, her slot taken by the former Conservative parliamentary candidate Ali Murray. LBC were contacted for comment. Here is the letter that they wrote, the open letter to LBC, saying, and it says the following here. So, we understand colleagues, friends, supporters and allies of Sangita Myska are writing to express our deep concern of her sudden disappearance from LBC. Sangita is a highly respected, award-winning presenter with a proven track record in international journalism for more than 20 years. She has been described by Channel 4 News, Lindsey Hilsum, as a brave, principled and excellent broadcaster, and a national treasure by photographer and film director Mr. Harriman. She is also one of the few women of colour to have been so successful in the industry, where barriers to entry and progression are many. The unexplained disappearance for weeks of a high-profile, popular journalist for LBC schedule, the only Asian presenter in a regular shot, shocked and upset and confused her peers and thousands of listeners across the UK, whose strength is feeling is palpable. The abrupt departure of Sangita's departure, and the absence of an explanation, has been interpreted by many at the station as complete disregard for the industry standards relating to diversity, transparency, and attributing values to its audience, and concerns that excellent journalists are at risk for simply doing their jobs and asking robust questions. Sangita is the daughter of an immigrant who settled in London against the backdrop of violent racism in the 1970s and 80s. After a non-selective state school education and degree made possible only by a full maintenance grant, she secured a highly competitive spot on a precious BBC News trainee reporter scheme. She is a representative of ordinary everyday people in a media landscape that is dominated by those with immense privilege. Be that a private education of Oxbridge degree, familial or social connections through her sex, class, race, or physical or neutral typical ability. Sangita's journalistic record and professional integrity remains unprecedented. Sorry, I can't say that word. Her approach is fair and balanced. She established a rare rapport with her audience. The author Tim Walker notes, at a time when the public trust in the mainstream media is low, our concern his recent events could undermine that trust further. Diversity also matters. Sangita has used her platform to uplift unrepressive voices, mentor diverse talent, and provide allyship to a wide range of communities telling their stories while challenging racist narratives and institutional bias with intelligence, wit, and lived experience. Little wonder then that Santika has become a favourite presenter at LBC, attracting a large, growing and loyal listenership from all backgrounds, inspired by her journalism, honesty and bravery in holding public figures to account. Clips of her show have regularly received millions of views online and much praise. In a world besieged by disinformation and misinformation, Santika's voice as a truth teller throughout her career is even more sought now and is missed. The huge outcry by her followers in recent weeks and those concerned about the press freedoms highlight this. We stand in solidarity with Sangita Myska and look forward to a return of our valued journalism. And you hear, if you want to have a look, these are all the people who have signed the signatories there. It's quite a long list of people there. You can see, and there's John McDonnell there, obviously. Lots of journalists there from people from universities. Lots of people making their voices very well heard here. I'm just going to scroll a bit more so you can see all the names there. So, yes, lots of people have signed it. They're making their voices very loud and very clear to be heard, guys. And I have to say that, will we get an answer? I hope we get a clear answer from LBC. They need to be a bit clear, and they need to be a bit clear about this. I do feel like there has been a bit of a radio, LBC are trying to sweep this under the carpet like it's no big deal, but it does raise concerns, and it does raise about the questions about. I do feel it raises questions about the integrity of leading Britain's conversations. I really does question them. The handling of this is just so outrageous, the way it's been done. There was the way to have been done this, and the way it's been done is just very sneaky, very odd, very peculiar. It just doesn't really add up. It's not normal. It's not a normal way to let someone go the way that they have been done. And it's not nice that the public don't have a clear answer either. And like I said at the start, I do think Santika may have signed some kind of NDA that she can't comment on it. I do think that may be the case. I could be wrong. I could be wrong on that, but we will have to wait and see if she ever speaks on the matter or when we get her back into broadcasting, because I think I do think we need her voice back, whether it's in another station, another media outlet, or maybe even we'll find her on YouTube. She does have a YouTube channel, but she's not, as far as last I checked, she's not used it for quite a while, to be fair. For those who don't wonder, if you simply just type in her name, Santika, full name, it'll come up on YouTube if anyone's interested in it. But honestly, guys, what do you think? What do you make of this whole situation? What do you make of LBC's, the way that they've kind of shoved her under the carpet and not been very clear about everything? Do you think this is something to do with Gaza, or is this a lot more? What do you guys honestly think about all this and more? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you found this video informative, please hit the like button. We greatly appreciate it. Share it across social media so others are notified of this video. And subscribe, because it really does help support the channel. And if you want to go one step further, financially support me and the work that I do here, you can do so by becoming a YouTube member for as little as 99p. Or join me on Rumble or Patreon for exclusive content there as well. So thank you all so much for watching. I hope to catch you all very, very soon.